told you I found you a perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Aysha gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Hello and welcome to A Perfect Match. I am Aysha, and as always, I am here with my co-host who accepts nothing but positive vibes. Jason Reed. Jason, how are you?
Aysha, I'm good. I do nothing but all day but block out negative energies.
Just,
I only accept positivity. Get that negative stuff out of here. Tell my wife all the time. She starts getting negative. It's like, only positivity. You don't want to get divorced. Don't maybe call Pastor Cal in here.
Laying down the law.
Yeah, I'm only about positivity.
Right.
Oh my god.
Same. Oh, what an episode.
I've never seen someone that only accepts positive vibes be so negative at the same time. That's amazing.
I don't know. This will be a good conversation.
I listen. I saw in the Facebook group we're gonna have a problem.
I thought it was super. I thought my comment was so nested that no one would see it.
I saw it. I know I'm gonna have to battle you. I have to battle a few other people in the Facebook group, maybe with my opinions. We will see.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll get into it. But yeah, I did peep that. I was like, we're gonna have a problem.
Dang it.
With you and a few other people. They know who they are in the Facebook group.
Yes, we are here to talk about season 16, episode 9. We're almost to the halfway point to talk about this lovely show, Married at First Sight. Make sure that y'all are going out there and you are subscribing to the Love at First Sight feed. That's where you can find all of our podcasts for A Perfect Match. You can find our podcast about the show Perfect Match with Jason and Kirsten. You can find Love is Blind with Mary Kukowski. You can also find the Ultimatum coverage. If you're super behind and you just discovered the Ultimatum on Netflix, we covered that on this feed as well. So make sure you subscribe and you can get all these podcasts in one place and then leave us a 5-star rating and review. We would greatly appreciate it.
Listen, for all those that haven't checked out the show Perfect Match yet, if you thought that this show that you're watching here, Married at First Sight, is a mess, you haven't seen Mess. That show is a dumpster fire of a mess.
You don't know what mess is.
Yeah, you don't know what mess. I would suggest you check it out and then check out our coverage with Kirsten. We had a great time with Kirsten, just chopping up about these ridiculous people and that ridiculous show. So yeah, check that out when you get a chance. It was a lot of fun.
Yep, we have 3 episodes where we talked about each week to talk about all 12 episodes of the show. So definitely go check that out. But we do want to shout out a couple of 5-star ratings that we have received. The first one is from Paunchy LA. It is titled Thanks. It says, I have stopped watching this ridiculous real show, but still love to listen to the fun recaps. I stopped because MAFS always starts out fun and hopeful, and it goes super dark once we start seeing the sad truth about why these people are still single, and the pod keeps it all light and entertaining. So thank you so much for thinking that.
I mean, this season, I don't even think started out hopeful. I think even this season, we're just like, sounds like 4 out of 5 DOAs here.
Right. Exactly. So thank you so much, Paunchy LA, for that lovely review. So glad that you're listening. I'm so glad we can retain people that the show cannot.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, people tell us all the time, I don't watch the show. I listen to the podcast. We appreciate you guys. I actually have started doing that with some things. Like, I don't have time to watch the show, but I do listen to like some of my favorite like content creators talk about it, and it is a good time. I'll have to admit. At first, I was just like, "How do y'all do that? Not watch the show, but listen to something about it." But I get it now.
Yeah, I do that with 90 Day because 2 hours is a lot, and it is a good show to watch, but it's just like, where am I going to fit it in?
So much, so much.
Yeah.
And that's not even talking about stuff that's on just Wednesdays. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Wednesdays is a league of its own.
yeah.
So the next review is from Noel80. It's titled WTH. Why didn't I know about this podcast? I am a regular listener of RHAP and feeling both delighted to have discovered that this exists and also frustrated that I'm only just now getting invited to the party. Sheesh.
We invited you a long time ago. Where have you been? Like, we've been waiting for you to pull up. Like, we were just like, where is Noel? We've been waiting for Noel for seasons now.
Right. You didn't get the we sent out through USPS invites to everyone. So
where have you been? I mean, we're glad you're here. Come on in.
Yeah.
Waiting. I was concerned when the title was WTH. I was like, are we about to get scolded?
Yeah. Like, why are y'all covering this show?
One of the other reviews we want to do today is from Paunchy LA. It is titled Thanks. Oh wait, you did that one already.
I did. Staircase.
Sorry. Staircase wit. Great banter and an earworm. Oh, something. Apple, get your stuff together. I want to see the title. I'm like,
do I need to turn my phone? How can I see the rest of it?
Right. I don't know. It's crazy. MAFS, the show, is 95% filler. True. But somehow Aysha and Jason make the awkwardness and absurdity into must-listen entertainment. Thanks, giving my end of week brain break when I need it most. Also, props to the theme song. I find myself humming it to myself all the time.
Hey.
Ditto. Shout out to Will from America who did our theme song. I can remember where I was. I was on vacation in Ocean City. Aysha, because she's the boss, got the song first, and she sent it to me, and I tortured my wife and daughter for the rest of the vacation with the song. Played it through my car, played it in the hotel room, just bopping to it.
It's a bop.
It is a bop for sure. Thank you so much, Staircase Wit, for the great review. We appreciate it. Yes, the show is filler, but yes, we do make it entertaining. Lifetime, where are you? Like, where are you listening to these reviews? Like, come on, call us.
Right.
We both have couches. Aysha's probably is a lot better than mine, but we both have couches. Okay.
I have a couch that I can sit on. I can prop up my phone, and I can give a reaction.
Aysha can sit her laptop with me on Zoom right next to her on the couch, right. And we can talk about the show. Where are you at, Lifetime? Okay. Oh, we're a couple of podcasters. Okay. Yep. Like, call us. We're here.
Yes. That's who we are.
Yeah.
So if y'all want a shout out on the podcast, definitely leave us a 5-star rating review and we will shout it out on a future podcast. We also have this lovely community of people over on Facebook. So make sure you go join our Facebook group, look up A Perfect Match podcast. You'll find us. And there is a password to get in. So this week, the password is
Crusty Little Bits. We want to know the crusty little bits of all of you. So we want you to come into the Facebook group and reveal yourselves, reveal your depths to us. I want to know what 5th grade you was doing. I want to get to know you.
Exactly. Oh goodness. But yeah, let's get started. Let's talk about this episode. This episode was the infamous housewarming episode. For most couples,
I think we're still in COVID protocols because everyone only got 4 invites to the housewarming. Like exactly. Jasmine and Aris talking about the guest list, and I was like, "What do you need a guest list for? It's only 4 people. You can't remember 4 people."
Write it down.
Yeah, why are we writing it down?
If you can't hold up your fingers and say Felina, mom,
my hating ass cousin. My buddy, who if I only invite him, I can't invite my other friend that has a matching twin outfit. Jasmine's cool aunt and Jasmine's sister.
Yeah.
You can't.
Wait, who was second? Problems. Who was second?
I don't remember the second one. See, I gotta write it down. And they were writing it too. Like they were writing it out. Like that's what we have phones for. Those notes. Like no one who uses pen and paper anymore.
Right. What is a pen?
Yeah.
So
I haven't touched a pen in 10 years.
Right. Like if you asked me to grab a pen right now and I'm at a desk, I would be like, what?
Like, is this how you do
Right? I don't even
That's
know.
how you write.
I don't have a pen in arm's reach. I have a marker.
I don't even remember what hand I am. I don't even remember what hand I write with.
Left.
I got. Oh, you got the Jason trivia this week.
Goodness.
I only know what hand I type with now, which is my left hand.
Gotcha. Wait, not both?
I mean, if I'm doing phone stuff, which feels more natural.
My right hand.
Left hand feels natural to me for typing, like texting, and all that stuff. So I'm left-handed even in phone typing.
I'm very slow with it if I have it in my left hand. But if I have my right hand,
yeah, see, the right just feels like unnatural to me. Like I could do it, but it just doesn't feel natural.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. It's not a preference.
What hand are y'all out there? Switch up on your writing and your typing. Let us know in the comments, in the Facebook group, wherever you want to send us your comments.
Yeah, we do need a poll in the Facebook group just to get a right hand and left hand vote. I'm curious.
Yeah.
So let's start with Mac and Dom. So we talked about this in the Facebook group, and if you are out on the socials, out on social media, you would have seen that Married at First Sight spoiled their own show once again.
They just love doing that this year. I don't know what it is with them. I think they're concerned maybe that their people want to stop watching if they get uninterested. But they're just
please
we promise someone gets divorced early. Isn't that great? Don't you love that? Come see what happens.
They literally post the scene of Dom saying that they got a divorce. Even before we've seen how it played out with Pastor Cal. Like, what?
I mean, listen, we kind of already knew because
we knew. Yeah, we knew.
They spoiled it before the season even started with her leaving with her box. So we already kind of knew, but just let there be a little mystique at least. Like, just stop giving away all of your show before the show airs. Like, what are you doing?
Thank you. I want to be surprised. I want to feel how I felt during every single action that happened during Survivor last night.
Yeah. Dom got medically evacuated out of her marriage.
Right. So they're sitting down with Pastor Cal. We continue that. She says she's over it. Pastor Cal's over the marriage or over this conversation. What do you mean? He's like, what do you want? Like, what do you want a divorce? Do you want to stay? And she's like, I would like a divorce.
I feel like he was talking to Dom like I would talk to my daughter. Like, okay, I don't know what your little Gen Z speak means. I'm gonna need you to talk clearly,
enunciate,
and like a real person, not just say I'm over it. Like, what are you over, sweetie? What are you over? What are you over with? This conversation, the marriage. I would need you to be a little more clearer. Need you to speak like need you to speak like an adult. Like, maybe it is because of the whole age conversation, but everything she said, I was just like, oh, you're so young, you're such a kid. Like, we got all this old soul stuff, but you just keep speaking this kid stuff. Maybe it's because they have really just force fed us this she's only 25 thing. I don't know.
See, that's where you and I differ. I blame them. I don't blame her. Who is she them? Applied for this, but you think she's only 25-year-olds who applied for Married at First Sight?
But who is them in your mind? Married at First Sight?
Like the experts production for choosing her to go through this and now blaming her for what they already knew.
Yeah, I don't even want to say that 25-year-old shouldn't be married. When I was 25, I was deep into my relationship with my wife. Like, we have a good many years behind us in our relationship. Wasn't married yet. But I felt like I was in a relationship, but I could handle a relationship. So it's not an age thing. I think it's about where you are at your age.
Yes.
She was at 25, not being in a long-term relationship and not having much success in long-term relationships. So maybe she was ready to just jump into marriage at her age at this time for her.
Yeah. So Pastor Cal says, look, word of advice, like, take ample time to explore life. He's like, maybe 25 was too young. You think?
You think, Pastor Cal, you're the one that put her on the show. Now you want to say, oh, maybe 25 was too young. Yeah, you think?
That's my problem. Don't go throwing that back in her face. She told you she didn't lie about her age when she applied. She said, I'm 25. I think I have an old soul. That's on y'all for putting her. There are plenty of unqualified people that apply for Married at First Sight. If somebody has just like all these toxic tendencies, like they're just a habitual liar, which they've cast before. So
Mhm.
let's say they're a habitual liar, and then they cast them, and then now Pastor Cal is having to talk to them about being a habitual liar. That they exposed that to you. They went through the interview process and said, "Hey, I'm a habitual liar," and you're like, "Okay, we're gonna match you."
Hey, I have a ton of toxic traits. Can you help me? You know what? I think we could pair you with someone who's going to help you with your toxic traits.
Right.
Not no, you have a bunch of toxic traits. We're not going to pair you up with
Right.
someone that you're going to ruin. Like,
Exactly. Don't try to
but
use this as a lesson for her. Maybe don't apply to get, like, you
that was a
chose
bad thing.
her.
That was a bad thing to say, Pastor Cal. That was
Yes.
I agreed with most of what he said there. Then when he like said the whole, oh, maybe 25 is too young, like that, you're not in a
Like,
position to
bruh.
say that, Pastor Cal. You were not in a position to say that.
Exactly.
But I just think, I don't know what I would like to speak with the experts. Like, so what did you see that made you like think this was okay?
She said
Like,
she was an old soul.
like what made you think that? She does puzzles. Like, that's why she's an old soul. Only old
She's
people
best
like
friends
puzzles.
with her mom.
It's old soul. That screams old soul.
Right.
But she's ready for marriage, right? And especially for someone that, you know, quote unquote, her mom signed her up for this.
Yeah.
As if it's just like, as if it was like a soccer like league that she didn't want to join, but her mom was like, it'll be good for you. Like, do it anyway. I want to make you do it. Yeah, she wasn't ready, and everything in this episode told me she wasn't ready. I was just like, yep, that confirms it. You weren't ready. Yep, that confirms it. You were not ready for this at all whatsoever.
Yeah, I do think a lot of people are being very hard on her
Of
because
course.
did you notice the switch up from Mac?
So which switch up are you talking about exactly?
Right. the
Because Dom says there's a lot
Mac
of
we
switching
see
up.
yes, she did, which she could be very well exaggerating. I'm going based off of what I see.
Mhm.
And the Mac that we have seen in this episode and last episode is not the same guy he was before the honeymoon, during the honeymoon. And I'm like, was he just that traumatized in their relationship that it completely deflated him? Or is he now being himself? And before he was putting on because, oh, I'm on TV, I'm on Married at First Sight.
So part of Mac that I've seen that was not good was the parts where he's really pissy and really like, you know, pouty and like, you don't like me. So those are the parts of him that weren't great. I did think he was putting on a little bit for Pastor Cal. I will agree with that for sure. I think he probably was as done as Dom, but he didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
I do think part of that because on After Party, Dom, you know, for the second week in a row,
They said Dom is a permanent member of After Party. That's what we've seen her so much on After Party.
I hope this is the last you see of her on After Party, because it's the same note 2 weeks in a row. You didn't see the Mac off camera. You know, right before this happened. She out here snitching. I understand why she wants to snitch because, you know, they're making her look pretty bad.
Yeah.
But you know, according to her, he wanted it to look mutual in front of the group, and then when they got in front of the group, he kind of threw her under the bus, and that's her words. And she talked about how, you know, it was, you know, all mutual for them. They both wanted to be out, but in front of Pastor Cal, he said he wanted to keep trying. And what did she say? She said after the Cal visit, after she left, she had texted him that she wasn't closing the door completely, but he says, nah, I'm good. Like, I don't want to do it anymore. Is what she is claiming. So yes, could there be a switch up? Of course there'd be a switch up. Anything could be possible. Anything is possible. Yeah. I don't know if it's that much of a switch up that she's claiming, but yes, Mac in front of Pastor Cal wants to try, but he seemed rather pissy in a lot of moments we saw.
Right. It's just hard to know which Mac is being genuine, but it's like the Mac that she was seeing when she decided to get a divorce. Oh, I definitely can see why. Who want not, and it's not even a positive vibes only type of thing. It's just like, what are we fighting for if there's nothing here?
I think Mac was really pouty because he felt he was being attacked, and in parts he was, because she was being a little over dramatic for me, like
for his basement.
Yeah, about his basement, about like how he doesn't want to try things. Now I understand being a little annoyed and perturbed at him, but I don't think it's anything to just end the marriage over. Like,
Yeah.
I thought divorce was a quick option for her to get out of the situation, and I think she should have stuck it
Taking some
out.
space.
Taken the
Yeah.
space, stuck it out, and did a restart after a few days.
Yeah. I
Because
definitely think they could have benefited from a couple of days apart.
yeah, because he at many times was in his feelings because of things she said. How she expected him, at a man of his age, to be. She was basically taking pot shots at him for the way he's living.
Yeah. I mean, and well, actually, now I think about it, they did have those 3 days apart before the Pastor Cal visit.
Yeah, she came in and was like, "Nope, I'm done." Like the 3 days did nothing for her.
She probably actually just felt better.
Yeah,
being away
she
from
had
him.
those 3 days and was just like, "Yeah, I had a great 3 days without you. I don't know why I would stop that." Like,
Yeah.
so
Uh,
all in all, I feel like she should have stuck it out. I feel like she did act immature. I am not saying that Mac has no fault here,
it's
because of course
innocent.
he
Yeah.
does. Of course he does, but I don't think anything Mac did rose to the level of I got to get out of this marriage.
Okay. I could see that. Like I could see how you could feel that way.
I think there will be personality clashes when you do
Yes.
something like this. Like, you shouldn't have come into this thinking there wasn't going to be personality clashes. I think more than likely there will be a personality clash.
Yeah.
But I
When we get to her conversation with her mom, there was something that she said that I was like, wait a second, Dom.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. And
Okay.
you have to come in expecting there's going to be some personality clash, but you have to be able to navigate that and, compromise, figure out what stays and what goes in both your personalities, and talk about it. She didn't really want to talk about it. Like, she came at it aggressively, so their conversations about it were all negative vibes, which she claims she doesn't like.
Yeah.
So I just think she handled it immaturely. Mac is not innocent. Like I said, Mac is at fault. I don't want anybody going away from this thinking Jason said Mac did nothing wrong. I did not say that. He also acted a little immaturely because his ego was hurt about things that she said and the way that he thinks he's being portrayed on the show. His ego was hurt. He was being a little pouty about it, and he is not as adventurous as Don, which I think that whole argument is ridiculous. Okay.
It's like, okay, you see that in this example of the honeymoon. Now that y'all are back, try what is adventurous to you. Go fishing. See how he enjoys that.
Like,
He never
Dom
even
acts
gave
like
that a chance.
no, Dom acts like she's ziplining and parasailing every weekend, and he's not going to be down with that. Like, no, like, just go about your everyday life. Take him, whatever, hunting, fishing, whatever it is you do. See how he takes to it. Talk to him. Be like, and talk to him in a gentler way than you did before. Like I want results. I don't like blah blah. Don't talk to him like that. Just be like, listen, I don't like it when you say this, this, and this. Can you not do that? Like, maybe couch it a different way. But she came at everything so tough and aggressive that he acted in a little pouty baby way that he did. And I just think she has a tough exterior. And
that's what she needs that's why I think she needs a tougher guy.
She does. And Mac did not vibe well with that tough exterior.
Yeah.
But I think giving it a try and trying to mesh your styles would have been a better option than just cutting and running so easily.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that's a big lecture on Dom and Mac, but that's just kind of the thing in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah. So Pastor Cal was like, I'm not trying to be mean, but you got to fight for it.
Yeah.
Mac feels disappointed and embarrassed, and once Pastor Cal leaves, Dom apologizes to Mac, and then Dom walks out with her box, crying.
Box of stuff, crying. It's what it. And what is this? 3 seasons in a row that we've had a early quit.
Yeah, because we had Alyssa and Chris. Well, we had 12. We didn't have one in Houston, right?
No, 13 was Alyssa and Chris. No, 13 was what?
Houston. So 12 was Chris and Paige. 13 was Houston. 14 was Chris and Alyssa. And last season was
Ben and Morgan.
San Diego. Oh, Ben and Morgan. Goodness, they just that's really why they're doing 5, because they can't bank on everybody going through.
Yes, this is the 3rd season in a row where we've had an early quit.
Yeah.
We need to get people that are willing to stick it out. And I don't know how they do that, because I think if you ask people in the process, like, so are you going to like really stick it out if there comes tough times? Of course, everybody's going to be like, yeah, definitely. I'm committed. I'm going to stay, through anything. And then when something hits, I'll be like, nah, I'm out. Bye.
Like, absolutely not. I'm good.
They got to find a better way to vet these people. Like, that's just what
that's really what it boils down to. I don't know how they do it besides grabbing 3 of their exes and having a sit down and like give me talk to me about this person.
Yeah.
So Dom goes to meet with her mom, Toya. Her mom was really excited to meet Mac or to talk to Mac and get to know him better now that they were back from the honeymoon. They were supposed to be having their housewarming today. And she just wishes she would have been able to have a conversation with Mac before they had gotten to this point. Which fair. So there needed to be an external.
That feels very like helicopter parent.
Yes,
like let me come in and fix this for you. Let me go to school and fix your grades for you. Let me go talk to your job and fix your issue for you. It really gave like, helicopter parent, like coming in, swooping in and fixing all of her kids' problems.
Yeah, you could have stayed married if I had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
So Dom tells her mom like Mac had gotten petty and he had just been very vocal on all the things he didn't like. And her mom was like, okay, did you ask him to work on it? And Dom was like, yeah. And she's like, well, did you give him time to change it? It's like, yes. Nope. That is very
mom
solid point.
Mom said he didn't have time to change it. You are 14 days into this. He didn't have time to change it.
Yeah, exactly. Literally did not have time to do anything to implement any, because even she brought up those adventure things at the end of the honeymoon. Now, how is he supposed to show that he is down?
Right.
So she said she felt like crap throughout the whole process, and she felt like he felt that he was having to redeem himself. He from the perspective that was being displayed of him. And so her mom asked, like, okay, well, would you have done anything different? And she's like, could you have been more patient? And Dom's like, I was very patient.
No, you weren't. Why are you lying to your mom? Well, I did like something when they were talking earlier, and she said, did you give him time to change? She's like, Dom says, well, I didn't come here to change anyone.
Yes, that was the quote that I was like, Dom, you weren't going to be dropped this perfect husband for you that everything was going to align. You're going to have no issues, positive vibes always. No.
That's what she thought she was getting. She thought she's one of those menu people. She thought she was ordering off a menu, and they were going to bring her perfect husband souffle. And
she said that last week with. Yeah, she said that last week with Pastor Cal. Like, I told you, that was a deal breaker for me.
That was on my list, Pastor Cal. You didn't listen. Like, that's not what I ordered. Yeah.
So she felt like she was patient. But she just really felt in her gut that this was not the relationship for her. And her mom was like, yeah, with him being 34, Don was like, I expected more. I expected more.
Jeez, man.
And she just doesn't feel the need to see him again. So this was just very interesting because it's so hard for me to say that Dom is just too young to be married. And that was the reason for this demise, or the demise of their relationship is like her age or her maturity. Because had they given her a man who, one, would be not afraid. Let's call it what it is. I know we've seen previews or whatever. Had they given her someone like Clint, who would be not afraid to call her out on stuff, not afraid to put his foot down when, they're having conversations and he feels a certain way, not afraid to speak up with Pastor Cal, be honest, I don't think we would see her ending a marriage early.
But that's saying if they had given her what she ordered, she wouldn't have complained.
But she wouldn't have ordered Clint. Clint has his flaws.
I think she might have ordered Clint. I think she would have been fine with Clint. I just think like the maturity thing is a big sticking point for Dom. But the issue is, I think you could also find 35-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds that have this same type of immaturity.
Yeah, 39-year-olds that men whose names start with an A.
Bingo. So I think it's a different people mature at different ages.
Yes.
It's just I think you are more likely to find someone that is not as mature at 25. So
yeah.
And so, but that could have happened to anyone, and anyone could have had the mindset of, we've seen it. We've seen people have the mindset of, I'm not going to go through with this because I don't like the person in front of me after a week or so. We've seen it in multiple seasons that happen. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Alyssa. Hello, Heather of Derek and Heather, for those old school MAFS fans. So we've seen it in people much older than Dom before. Okay. So let's take that issue out of it. It's about her mindset, and it's about how she went about this. Like, she went about in a bad way. That's just it. She wasn't willing to try. She wasn't willing to make it work. She was not willing to go with this any further. In her words, she did not want to turn to a toxic situation. Which, guess what? Sometimes things got to go a bad way before they get better. Sometimes things do
have to get hard. Yeah.
Right. They have to go hard before they get better. That's a thing that she has yet to learn, that she's going to need to learn. She's going to have a successful relationship / marriage.
Yeah. It's like, like, my granny in Arkansas, she lives down like a gravel road, right? So if I think of her house as like, oh, that's where I want to be, right? And then I'm driving on this nice concrete, and then I hit her dirt road that is like, then I'm like, oh, I don't want to go anywhere this leads. But that's the only place I could go.
Let me tell you something. Hold on. Let me tell you something. There's not much more that I love than an Aysha out of nowhere metaphor. Not much I love more than that. Just random out of nowhere Aysha metaphor comparing a relationship to her granny's gravel road. That's what you come to the podcast for. That's what you come to the podcast for, y'all. That's what you come here for.
I literally thought comparison. Granny's gravel road.
Let's get you on Survivor. Like, that's what we need to see, is these like Survivor like metaphors that Jeff Probst loves.
Yes.
I totally lost like my train of thought on that metaphor, but yes, you're gonna have to do some compromise. You're gonna have to work at it. It's almost as if she had been with Mac for a year and all of a sudden Mac came down with a cancer or something. She'd be like, oh no, bro, that's bad vibes. Like, I cannot deal with that. That's not what I signed up for. I'm out. Like, it's almost like that. Because you didn't get exactly what you didn't get your positive vibes always. You're going to be out at the first sign of trouble.
But if it was Jasmine, she for sure would take care of him, according to Aris.
Aris, for the 80,000th time, we found out that Jasmine's the type of girl that will take care of you if you're on your deathbed.
Oh my goodness. So all the couples did get together for a potluck. And so we're going to kind of just talk about each couple, kind of their highlights from the potluck in their section. So with McKinley and Dominique, they show up, but they
together.
Yeah, they were together. I was
surprised they showed at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was a moment that they're all going around, and Max says, oh, has anyone had sex yet? And then we find out on after party that Jasmine did not like that because Mac and Aris had a good relationship. And so she was like, he is well aware of what's going on in my household. So why would he say that?
It was so interesting because I didn't think Mac directed that at Jasmine and Aris.
Yeah.
Unlike Clint, who directly asked Jasmine and Aris if they were getting, I think he used the word freaky. Frisky.
Oh.
Yeah, frisky was it. If they were getting frisky, like Mac just put it out to the group.
Yeah.
And like Dom gave him a shot, him a look at when he asked that too. I was like, okay. Mac for some reason has lost his voice. What was Mac doing the night before that he lost his voice?
No idea. I do not know this man.
Probably partying with his bros or something. Like, I got divorced. Let's go out and party.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, was this like a producer like prompted question? Because usually that's what that is.
Right. It felt out of nowhere for sure.
Yeah.
And so they're just continuing going around asking about everybody. And Nicole asked them, "So what about you guys? How are y'all doing?" And Mac's like, "Well, she's outspoken and we both know what we want. And we did make a decision to get divorced." And everybody's
Mhm.
kind of like, it's so funny watching them like toy between, should I be super surprised or should I play this cool?
So, and you know, the funny thing is, like, we talk some about like how bonded are the cast, right? Like some seasons we feel like, oh yeah, they probably already knew before they all walked in there. I really got the feeling that like no one knew, like they were not
Mm-mm.
in communication, they were not like in the know. It was like, oh, like damn, we haven't talked to y'all in a week since we got back from the honeymoons. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like none of them probably even really talked for a week during when they got back from the honeymoons. Like if we think about like a season 14, Katina and Jasmina,
Yeah.
that were like at the hip, like tight, like
Yeah. Literally,
they
like Dom would have been at one of their apartments talking about, like, oh, I
yeah.
just had to leave.
Yeah, and on that honeymoon, we really got the feeling of like a lot of people were bonded and together. Don't get that feeling about this cast. Don't feel a cohesion here yet.
No, I don't. Yeah, maybe the couple of guys we've seen that happen, but like with the ladies,
Yeah.
I'm not really even, we usually see we get our two black couples. And so usually
Yeah,
we
even
see the
Kirsten.
women,
Yeah, Kirsten and Jasmine don't seem to be
at least that we're
very
seeing.
bonded. Yeah, at least that we're seeing. I mean,
Yeah.
apparently, as you said, Mac and Aris are best friends. I was like, okay,
Yeah, never knew
sure,
that. Yeah.
didn't know that. But yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. So they announced they're getting divorced. Matt or Dom says there was some confusion because he made some comments that made her feel like he wasn't happy and she's positive vibes only. And he said he was blindsided by her asking for a divorce. He didn't like the belittling on the honeymoon. And he says there's been no compromise. And Clint, Clint out of nowhere. I'm challenging y'all to take a step back.
The expert that is Clint.
You're right. Expert Clint.
I'm gonna give you guys a challenge, okay? I just want you to take a step back and see if you're willing to stick it out. Take some time. Like, okay, Clint. No one asked you. Why are you
Right.
popping up? No one asked you, man.
Always. He said, there's something there. And Kirsten said, don't give up on him because you wouldn't want somebody to give up on you.
All right. Thank you, Kirsten. That was your line for the episode.
That was deep, girl.
That was your one line for the episode, and you don't have to talk any more this episode.
She starts talking. I'm like, wait, who's talking?
Yeah, you had your one line that you say every episode. Like
that was it.
that was the one. At least you made it count.
Yeah. Nicole tells Dom like she's gonna regret this and she's gonna regret not trying. And Nicole, like, she's like, would it help if y'all just took some time apart? And Dom sits there and she's like, maybe. And they're like, yeah, cheers to maybe.
Oh.
Cheers to maybe.
I knew what this was as soon as it happened. I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's like she's trying to get them off her back.
Yeah, for sure.
And so literally that's what it was. So we get them like they have one more scene in their apartment. And before she comes in, Mac is saying like all the back and forth is like a young man and young woman's game. And so she comes in and she says, that was a lot of pressure. And he's like, it wasn't my intent. And she's like, oh, no, I know. And he's like, why did you say maybe? And she said, I just didn't appreciate all the glaring eyes. I felt like nobody was listening to me. And he's like, did you feel like it was peer pressure? She said, yeah, I said maybe out of peer pressure. I didn't feel like no was an acceptable answer.
But I'm very honest.
Yeah.
But right after she said that, she's like, but I'm very honest. I mean, except for the part where I wasn't honest
just
at all.
Lied. But
now.
She's being honest to him now, which, okay, that doesn't matter. But I will say, imagine she said, no, they would have continued.
I think there's a way to say no and that to be the end of it. Be like, oh yeah, no, there's nothing going on here. That should be the end of it. Like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's Go around the room some more. Nicole, Clint, I know that you are both very outspoken and want to have your opinion known, but don't need it. Thank you. I made my decision. It's done.
The thing is, Dom does need work on communicating, right? So she felt like nobody was listening. So you pivot. If people are not listening, then that's what you say. Hey, this marriage is over. Y'all were not in our relationship. That's what
Yeah.
it boils down to. We lived it, y'all didn't. And so we understand why it's over. Y'all don't because y'all weren't in it.
Right.
Rather than trying to get into the well, he's not adventurous and like all that stuff sounds to them like, oh, we can fix that. We know how to.
That's easy.
Yeah, it's just like no,
and it's like, and that's another thing with the maturity piece. That's the thing. That's the thing you do when you're immature. You say whatever you want. You need to say to get out of whatever is happening now. Like you're not upfront. You're not real because you don't want the conversation to continue because it makes you feel uncomfortable. You don't like it, so you're not upfront and real about it. But yeah, like everything that happened with Dom this episode just made me be like, yeah, just not ready.
Yeah, I just think. Okay, yeah, even if she's not ready, I still don't think she would have ended the marriage early had they given her someone a little bit more dominant.
Yes, sure.
And I think that they're
if they had matched her correctly, basically.
And it's not even like the perfect guy because like I'm saying, Clint would have sufficed, and he's not the perfect guy. There were things about she probably like, okay, if he talks about the sailboat one more time. Okay, I'm very annoyed.
But I just thought that the issues that Dom and Mac were having were not as big as to be like, all right, we're going to end this early. Yeah, I just felt like, like
it's boils down to what we were talking about though. What is there to Mac? If you don't have these, let's say take away the issues. What does she like about him?
We don't know. Like she never even got like the chance or the desire to even figure it out because the first time he was like, I don't know if I want to go on a sailboat. She was like, oh no, this is done. Like this is annoying. She was pretty checked out pretty early. I mean, she didn't ask about the dogs' names for goodness sake.
Yeah,
that would have been a deal breaker for you, Aysha.
Absolutely. Come on, pepper cinnamon is not hard.
Right, and they're spices. I feel like she was out early, and there was nothing that was going to happen to. She didn't want to get to know him because she was done pretty fast.
Yeah, that is true. So Mac asked, like, okay, where do we go from here? She's like, I wouldn't mind being friends. He said, I don't want to be your friend.
I ain't have no damn friends. What you think this is? Friends at first sight?
And that's such a like for her to say that is just she's trying to be amicable. That's like okay, we've gone through something hard, but I don't want you, like she says, she's like, she doesn't want anybody walking around Nashville hating her. It's not like she had like great intent. She just wanted to end it where there was no hate.
She didn't want to be the bad guy. But she kind of is. She's the one that ended it. And I don't blame him for being like, yeah, I don't need any more friends. Like,
yeah, they don't need to be friends. No.
In fact, I'm going to leave Nashville after this because I was only here for this. Like, this is what I was here for. So I'm not even going to be around to be your friend. So
maybe that's what he's going through too. He realized because this is over, he's like, dang, now I need to really figure out what I'm trying to do.
Mommy, can you get me a first class ticket back home?
I did. So after he says he doesn't want to be her friend, we get a confessional that she's feeling like a carcass that's been run over.
That was so graphic.
I know. I was, good Lord. Then I realized I don't know how to spell carcass. So they hug. She hugs him. I'm sure he didn't want the hug, but he says in his confessional he's not interested in another friend. He says she's young and she just needs more experience. And so she leaves and she says she respects his feelings, but this is how they end things. And she feels like she pushed her limits. And he was like, you just got, in his confessional, he said, you just got to give things time. And I just didn't get that.
She pushed her
limits. But he also didn't fight for it hard enough either. So.
Yeah, I mean, she pushed her limits. Her limits are very short.
Hey, she didn't say she had very high limits.
You're gonna have to extend your limits if you're going to be in a successful relationship. Is all I have to say to that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it's worth rating them. They're over.
I mean, no. I mean, I think in these situations we can put our meters to 0. Like,
put a pin in it.
yeah, it's over.
We are now only rating 4 couples.
Yeah,
we
well,
get to this point every season.
Shorter time for us. We got there pretty fast this season.
Right.
How many times do you think we will see them the rest of the season?
I think they'll make an appearance.
Well, I know we know we're going to see Dom again.
Right.
We know we're going to see her at least once more in this season.
Exactly. I think this may be it for Mac, unless he is as close to Aris as they're trying to make it seem.
I think we'll definitely see them in that last bit after decision day, right before the season ends. I think we'll see them both then. I don't know if we're gonna get a Chris situation with Mark the Shark in season 14 or whatever, where like he went to go help Mark shop for Lindsay, like he just tagged along. And they did, just because they Mac and Dom got their little like we're coming to announce we're divorced thing that Chris and Alyssa also did at the bowling alley that time. I would say we'll see them once more before the whole after decision day thing. I think we'll see them one each.
Once more. Yeah.
Once more for each of them. Yeah.
Yeah. One more appearance, and definitely separately. I doubt they'll find a reason to do it together. Yeah,
it just gives me more. This sparks me more that we will see that Dom and Clint kiss at that, like, after decision day meetup right before the season ends. I think. That's what I think will happen.
I hope it happens before, because I'm just tired of waiting on it.
Or it's the Where Are They Now special, and we have to wait even longer.
Oh my God! Don't say that. And if that's the case, how are they putting out a promo for Where Are They Now?
They're trying to get you. They want you to keep watching. Like, can you blame
Unless
them?
it was an accident, and they were like, "Oh, now people have seen it already." I don't know.
An accident? No.
An intern released it too soon.
No, y'all give interns too much power. Y'all say interns are in charge of social media accounts. Like, yeah, everyone out there gives interns way too much power than they actually have.
Exactly. All right, which one do you want to go to next?
Let's knock out Kirsten and Shaq. Give me something, y'all. Give me something. Y'all give me nothing.
They're giving absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. So we get them. They're getting ready for a little party. I don't even think we got their first segment until like at least halfway through the show.
I think we were past an hour, because I was like, I saw them and I literally scrolled through my notes. I'm like, where's my Kirsten and Shaq section?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we just haven't seen them.
A bunch of people in this episode got meetings with family or friends before the party. They didn't get any of that. We come in, they're getting ready for their party. All their guests arrive. There's no preamble. It's just like, oh, we just starting this thing. Okay. Well, we did get it like in the montages early in the episode. We got Shaq fixing her tire. And she's like, I think she's in his car talking about, my husband's fixing my tire. So we got that, but that was just the montage thing.
Aw, so sweet.
I mean, I feel like Shaq is probably A+ Married at First Sight participant, and maybe that's why we're not seeing a lot of Shaq, because there's
nothing to show.
Right. So they're getting ready for their party. Guests arrive. I think all the guests were her friends and family.
I think that no, they were. So it was 2 married couples, and so the couple with the it was like the couple that was standing in front of Kirsten, they were with Shaq.
Yeah, I could have swore they were both Kirsten's people, but whatever.
Because it was his friends and then her cousin and her cousin's wife. I think it was a guy cousin.
I'll go with whatever you say. In a confessional, they say that, they really wanted to get 2 married couples to be their guests at the housewarming because they really wanted some people that could give really good advice. I think that was really smart. I was like, gosh, that's some next level thinking. Like, I can't be
useful.
Yeah, like, wow, that's really an efficient way to use your time on in this show, is to like be around people that will give you good advice about being married. I was like, that is mature. That is like mature stuff right there.
Since the experts are
nowhere to be found.
Pastor Cal's like, I was just here.
I was there yesterday. It's not enough. It's not enough. They make small talk with their guests. Look at their wedding pictures. Then we get down to the nitty gritty. So how are y'all? Like, how romantic was the honeymoon? They say not that romantic. We did not consummate the marriage. Well, at least you guys have kissed, right? And Kirsten says, well, I'm not a good kisser, so I didn't. Whoever's cousin it is, Greg, says in a confessional, she needs to let him be the judge of her good or bad kissing. Yes, thank you, Greg. Make Greg an expert.
Did you notice? Because it didn't show up on my captions because they were focusing on what the couples were saying. But did you notice that when they said, like, has there been, like, I'm not getting kiss energy, Shaq in the background was like, we kissed.
I didn't catch that.
I watched it 3 times because I came here because I was like, I gotta say
you came with a mission. You came with a mission. I did, because I was like, examining too, and he did not say that he has not gotten a kiss. So
right.
That supports your theory that they have kissed before. Maybe they don't kiss
not a lot.
Yeah, he did not say anything like, "Oh, I haven't gotten a single kiss." He didn't say that. So, maybe there is reason to believe that your theory is correct. That maybe they have kissed. It maybe wasn't on camera, and they don't want to really admit that. Shaq in a confessional says, I know she's not a kisser, but we're going to have to compromise and fix that because I am a kisser, but I will be patient.
I do have a question. What do you think about that? Like, is she just using this as a cop-out? I'm not a good kisser. Like, who's walking around saying that?
I honestly, when you talk about the act of kissing, for one, is she so repulsed by Shaq that she doesn't want to kiss him? Is she afraid that if they get too far into it, that it will lead to something else? I don't understand the high value that she is placing on the kissing. I don't understand that. It's just, not to say that it's just kissing, but you're married to the man. I think it's okay if you kiss him. I just don't understand the high value she's placing on the act of kissing.
Here's another metaphor.
She's treating
it like she's treating it like a high value treat. It's like, okay, I could have these little treats that I give the dogs, but if I really want them to do something, then I'll give them a piece of meat or something. They're really going to want that. But a little treat, I get that all the time, whatever. Mm-hmm. That's the hold handing, her rubbing his head, just close contact. But then he wants the piece of meat and she's like, I'm not good at giving that to you.
And the piece of meat is a kiss. Usually the little treats would be a kiss. Yeah. Usually the kiss would be a little treat, but she has made the piece of meat the kiss, which I'm not sure what her mindset is for that. Really, is it really that she doesn't think she's a good kisser? I find that hard to believe.
No one says that. Who's saying that? No one would ever know if you're a good kisser unless they're kissing you.
And what makes you a bad kisser? What route are you taking with the kiss? Are we talking full on French? Are we talking okay, we've talked about the show Perfect Match. Those kisses on Perfect Match, those are bad kisses. You know why? Because you see all the tongue slithering and you see
all the saliva streams.
All gross. You see but are we talking about just a lip to lip kiss? How can you be bad at that? How could you be bad at it? I'm not talking about I need a French kiss every time you kiss me. I just want lip to lip contact. I really want to understand her mindset, and I wish you'd be honest with us, but I feel like we're not getting the whole truth there.
No, I think we're the amount of screen time we're getting is showing us what we will get from them. Nothing. Mm-hmm. I think we're not going to get any honesty. If they were to make it to decision day and they decided not to get a divorce, we're still going to be confused. What was it? What's the real reason? Why? How did we even get here? Because no one in 16 seasons is going around saying, I myself am a bad kisser. That's why there's a lack here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you've ever had a couple like Kirsten and Shaq who are, this weird stage where it's
Mm-hmm.
like we don't hate each other, we get along quite well, but we just have not passed the kissing phase. Like if they got to decision day and decided one way or the other, we wouldn't be shocked, I guess, because it's
Yeah.
like I don't know if you've ever had a couple like that where they're just stuck in in neutral. Like they don't
Yeah.
they get along just well. Just they're just there. I don't know if you ever really had that. We've had boring
Yeah,
couples,
they are just stuck in neutral. It's
but
like,
those boring couples are at least like progressing to a stage where they're like having sex and all that. Kirsten and Shaq are a boring couple that have done nothing. It's so
yeah,
weird.
it's so weird. But wait,
Yeah.
no, you
So
were talking.
this is my segment, Aysha.
I was like, okay, so
So they do a little separation thing. They each take the friends group and the cousins group each take Kirsten and Shaq to their designated spaces. So Kirsten does talk to her friends about, yeah, it's taking her a while to open up, but she's really trying. Meanwhile, Shaq is asking, the cousins if he's being too patient. The woman, Takina, I think her name was, says he has to figure out when he has to be, more forceful and when she needs to be more forceful. She does say it's gonna be hard, like yeah,
Mhm.
because she's giving me nothing. Like, what am I supposed to do? He does wonder if what's going to make her attracted to him within the 8 weeks. Like, what could he do to make her attracted? Nothing, Shaq. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you can't force it.
Yeah. Takina hopes that they can get past the friendship level and at some point get intimate and physical. Glenn the male, I don't know who's who. Glenn says they have to let the chemistry build with intention. Her friends say that for him, the attraction has to build between them, and it's not there yet. Let's see where else up with the Kirsten Shaq. That was honestly,
It's really just pulling from random quotes
yeah,
because
that's it.
it was just a whole pile of we could have done without.
Yeah. And folks, I got it. That's pretty much it. There was a little segment in like the big group to get together, which I thought was interesting, where they're talking to Jasmine and Aris about the attraction issue, and Shaq goes, she wasn't attracted to me at first, but now she's rubbing all up on my bald head. And she does. She rubs all his bald head, and Kirsten says, "You have to let the attraction grow. You can get there." I was like, so does that mean you're
That
getting
you're
attracted?
attracted now because you still not kissing him, girl.
Yeah, I need you to be a little more forthcoming. I don't know.
Yeah. The last thing she did say when she was with his friends was like she can't answer if she'll be with him for the rest of her life.
Yeah, I mean, but honestly, that was a dumb question in the first place. Like, let's be honest.
We're 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once again, I'm sorry, y'all. I wish I was editing this show. I would put more of Kirsten and Shaq.
Give me some. I mean, it looks like we're going to get a little bit of something next week.
Yes, a little bit of conflict, but it might be similar to the last time where he's the one outraged and she's the one being even killed. And it's just like,
so I tried to decipher what's going on there, and I think I figured out that maybe he wants to go out somewhere with like his friends, and she's like, "No, I want you to stay here with me because I want to be around you." And he says she got what she wanted, but I'm miserable is I think the word he used. You're miserable. Wow. So I think that might be the issue if I'm trying to edit read. So who knows?
They did get that other scene in the previews that she's saying they're taking things to the next level.
Oh yeah, because I think this is the chemistry
Intimacy
connection
one.
night where you try to enforce intimacy. So yeah, who knows?
We might get the strawberry.
Maybe, yeah, that could definitely be the week that we get the strawberry quote unquote kiss or not. So that'll be interesting to see. Hopefully it sparks something within them and gives them some level of like interesting for the season because we haven't gotten it yet, really.
Yeah. So the next couple, well, let's rate them.
Oh yes, of course. They're stuck in neutral. They're stuck at a 3 for me. Like what were we at? Were we at 3s last week?
We were. We've been at 3 since we started since we came back to the numeric rating system.
Yeah, something's gonna happen. Something's got to happen to shift that one way or the other. I'm sick of being stuck at this 3 with
something's
nothing.
Got to give.
Yeah, something's got to happen. So we'll see next week.
Yeah, because it just always seems like she starts to like him more, but then we're like, wait, we're still in the same place physically. So
Mhm.
what is gonna shift that for you? Because he's just getting more and more frustrated.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Jasmine and Aris. They took Duchess for a walk. So that was cool. I was a little uneasy the way that Aris was holding that leash.
He was a
I was
little too
like,
loose with it.
way too loose with it.
At least
Like,
he's walking the dog. At least he seems to
yes,
like the dog. So
right. It does
that's
seem like
something.
he has built a bond with Duchess. I was like, oh, all Duchess got to do is one little sprint. She's gone. And so let's see. So we have Aris meeting up with Felina.
Felina, you're back. Welcome back, Felina. And you
Right.
gave, Felina. You did your thing. Go ahead.
Well, how does Jasmine say her name? Did she say Fallina?
Felina.
It's
Fallen.
definitely
She
not
does say it.
Felina.
She
I think
does
it's
say
Fall
interestingly.
or Fallina.
Falina. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Falina. Yeah. I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
calling her Felina because I like
Right. Yeah. No, I think Jasmine she just doesn't
it.
care.
She's being a pageant queen. She's saying it
Yeah.
eloquently and
Yeah, she's like, that's my dig.
enunciating. Yeah.
Don't you hear how I say her name? That's a dig. um, so he's talking about how like she has attraction for him, but he's not there yet with the attraction. And so Felina's like, so in other words, you're not attracted to her.
I
He's like,
knew it.
well,
I knew it.
he's like, yeah, well, I like she is attractive. I'm just not, she's just not my type. And Felina's like, attraction ain't only physical.
I
Like
was
Felina with the
so
advice.
Felina like really kind of like went back and forth for me. Like
She
I was,
did.
I was like, oh, that's good advice. Oh, you being shady. Like it went back and forth like that. I was like, you're actually talking the real sense right now. Oh, you're crapping on Jasmine. Like in the next breath, like
Next breath. Almost same breath in some cases.
yeah, it was really back and forth.
Yeah. So he says like right now for him there's a wall up. He's usually a very physical person, but he has a wall up. And but he knows like if she's in a room when he's not there, she's going to speak up for him. If he's sick, she's going to take care of him.
She's gonna treat me so well. She does so much for me. That's all this guy talks about. Like he never talks anything about what he's gonna do for her. It's all about what
Never.
she can do for him. And I'm so sick of this guy. Like it's just the way he speaks about her and the way that he is all about himself and how much of a sex god he is. And just it's a lot. And I'm getting tired of it. Like the tune needs to change at some point.
Right. Yeah, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
So when he says that, like he knows that she would do those things for him. Felina's like, then what's the problem? He's like, there's just not any sexual attraction. Like when we lay down at night, I go right to sleep.
Mm.
Like,
Imagine you're in the bed next to a beauty queen, next to Jasmine, who wants to be desired by you, who wants to go to that level with you, and you're just like, nope, going to sleep, bye. Like, what is
ridiculous
wrong with you? Like,
honestly,
sir.
Felina's like, well, what did she say to all this? He's like, well, she handled it like a lady. And we get a confessional. Felina's like, Jasmine seems so fake to me. If that hurt you, say it hurt you.
She did. First of all, she just said it in a mature, like rational way. Like,
yeah,
I'm sorry if she did not get all ratchet and like go off on him and like throw chairs at him or something. Literally. Like you would have done, Felina, but that's just not how we all handle ourselves. I don't know what
she wanted her to go off. Everybody don't do that. So he's like, well, there is a housewarming party. She's
not
like,
going.
I'm not going to that.
He didn't even get the word party out. She's like, not going.
You're right.
Not gonna be there.
She said, I don't want to be invested in something that ain't going nowhere. And it doesn't seem like you're invested.
Wow. I was like, ooh, okay.
It's like, that's very true.
Yes, but I think even if you don't think it's gonna work, you should support your family if they ask for your support
Right.
in certain way. In this situation, I would say, all right, I'll come there to support you if you're not going to be a jerk. Which unfortunately, I think if she was invited, she would have been a jerk, or if she had agreed to come, she would have been a jerk. And I just think if even if you think it's not going to work and your person asks you for support, you should still go.
Yeah, exactly. And so she's like, "Do you even want to be married?" I was like, "Is this decision day?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I do want to be married." And Felina's like, "I don't pretend to know everything, but be a man and have sex with your wife."
Wow.
And it's funny because on After Party, Jasmine did not like that advice because she was like, "Don't just say go, just go do it."
Right, as
Like,
if she's an object.
yes, exactly.
At the time when Felina said that, I was like, part of that, I was like, okay, I mean, yeah, I think I was probably wrong for thinking this. I was just like, but yeah, go at least like see if something stirs within you
But
as
then that's
you.
like a Jake and Haley.
Yes, that's true. So yeah, I do think that was bad advice overall.
Mhm.
But I think part of it would be take the plunge and lead up to that and see if you get interested as you are leading up to the act. I would say, I don't
Yeah.
know. But I do agree with Jasmine. She's like, people just say, "Oh, just go have sex with her," like as if it's just a chore to do, like
Mhm.
to check off your list. Which, yes, is not the way you should be speaking about anyone, really.
Right. And I just think he needs a one-on-one therapy session to really dive into what it is. It can't be just that she's not his type. People can be physically attracted to people who aren't their type. We don't have
Right.
an on and off switch of like my type, not my type. I'm attracted, I'm not attractive. It's just he needs to really narrow it down. Like, was there something on the honeymoon that turned him off? Or like what is it?
I think Cal hit on something when he talked to them last episode of like maybe he's feeling too pressured to really make this successful, make it work,
Mm-hmm.
and he's really getting in his head about it. Maybe I think that hits on something because
Yeah.
I don't see how you don't just have no desire with Jasmine. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it. Like there's
I
a
don't
like
believe you.
no. There's a not my type, and then there is a like I just have I have zero attraction to this person. I don't want to do anything with them. It boggles my mind how Aris could be feeling this way about Jasmine.
Right.
It doesn't add up to me. Like it's like it
The
doesn't
math
add.
ain't mathing.
Not mathing. Like the formula is wrong. Like I don't know
Yeah,
what you're talking about. Yeah.
exactly. So we get a scene of like Eris is like working on the couch and Jasmine comes home. And she says like she needs to pick up some decorations for the housewarming. He's like, okay, look, I know I want, both of us to be comfortable here. But you were a little hesitant to invite Felina to the party. So we get a flashback to him writing the guest list. And he was like, Felina, and she's like, who else? Who are you inviting? Who are
So
you inviting?
he said Felina and his friends. She said, "So your friend." Like
Right.
just ignored the Felina part. Like totally.
Yeah, exactly. And so then we get back to them on the couch, and Jasmine's like, yeah, with everything being so fresh and new, she's not somebody I'm comfortable being around. And we get a confessional where Jasmine says she basically feels like Felina thinks she's a fake person. And so then Eris is like, okay, well, I already invited her and she didn't want to come. And so Jazz was like, well, obviously it's mutual.
Yeah, I like so I didn't like she's like, yeah, we're not inviting Felina. He's like, well, I went ahead and invited her anyway. And Jasmine was
Right?
like, why would you do that? I specifically told you we're not inviting her, but yet you invited her anyway. That I think that would have been a bigger problem for me than anything else. And they didn't dive into that. Like it was just a momentary look from Jasmine, like, why would you do that when I said I didn't want her to be here?
Right.
Which is interesting. So
Exactly. Like his act of inviting her against her wishes is a bigger deal than the relief that Felina's not coming. It's like,
right.
wait, what? Why did you do that in the first place?
Uh-huh.
So then Aris tries to explain away how they just have differences. He's like, Felina, she has big personality. She just stands 10 toes down, and right now she just doesn't think this marriage is real, and who knows when it will be real for her. We could be years from now at cousins night laughing about how she didn't come to the housewarming.
Somehow I doubt it.
Exactly.
I think in what is it? We got 6 weeks. We got 6 weeks left. I think in 7 weeks, Felina will be going, you remember when you married that girl that I told you not to marry, and then you're not together anymore? How about that? I think that will be what will happen more likely.
Exactly. Where's she at now?
Yeah, where's she at? You don't even know.
Right. Probably doing some pageants.
Yeah, she's probably up on the stage doing a walk like this and waving her hand, putting a crown on her head, putting on her sash.
Like she does.
Like she do.
So
where's your pageant queen at, Aris? Where's she at?
Okay.
She ain't here.
We ain't
at cousins night.
He would never hear the end of it.
Never, ever hear the end of it.
So we get the housewarming party, and it's like his two friends and her, either aunt and sister, or both of them were her aunts. I don't.
It was an aunt and a sister.
Okay. And so they're talking about, they ask her like, oh, with all the dogs that you have, do they sleep in the bed with you? She's like, yeah, I have a king size bed. It's 4 dogs. 4 is a lot.
Yeah. 4 is like, and are they all as big as Duchess? Like,
right. Exactly.
How do you find a space for Aris in that
right.
in that mess?
I mean, you see how small Cinnamon and Pepper are. I even have to be watching my feet if I'm adjusting in the bed, because one day I hit my feet on Pepper and she's like, and got off the bed. I was so mad. I was so sad that I was like, I'm sorry, that wasn't intentional. I was just moving.
You got to give her extra carrots, I'm sure, that day.
She mad. She's like, oh, she just kicked me off the bed. So she says how they're just getting into like their relationship. She says how communication isn't her strong suit, and Aris goes, prime example was making the guest list. I wanted to invite my cousin Felina, and she just wouldn't put her on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you bringing that up?
He just throws her right under the bus. Like,
literally.
Let me tell you about all our problems.
Right.
Let me get y'all all up in our business.
Exactly. It's like, this is so inappropriate in front of other people. Because the key is, you tell other people about your problems. They know your problems, right? Then you go on and you forgive them. The people that knew the problems, they didn't go through that healing process in order to forgive.
Nope.
So you're just frustrating things for yourself. So she says to them that her and Felina had a conversation. She just didn't feel respected. And Aris is like, yeah, like it's like the 2 most important women in my life. And, it's early. But then her aunt is like, yeah, but Jasmine's your wife, and that should be your priority.
Even though you did only meet Jasmine 7 days ago.
Yeah, true. And he just talks about, he's like, yeah, Felina's blunt, and I just understand her bluntness. And he's just trying to make it seem like they're just 2 different people without actually acknowledging the fact that Felina has directly disrespected Jasmine to her face. That's the problem, not just personality differences.
Yeah, Felina was a jerk. Like, there's a difference.
Right. Exactly. So he went into the room with her aunt and her sister, and they said like, oh, what if Jasmine one day up and decided like she was gonna give up her dogs? Like, what would you do? And he was like, oh, I'd be super excited. Like, we'd keep Duchess, but it's like, what kind of question was this?
Where did this come from? I just
no idea.
It seems out of left field. Like, what if Jasmine was willing to give up her dogs? Like, who asked for her to do that? Like, what's the scenario? Like, you just came out with this weirdness.
Like, what? Why is that on the table?
Right. Like, was there a conversation piece we missed there? I did like in all these episodes, which is so funny because they're all, everyone's like, so Aris, do you want to give us a tour of the rest of the house?
Yeah.
I was like, oh yes, sure. Like, well, this is the bedroom.
Yeah, it's like Nicole. She's like, this is the tour. This is the kitchen. This is the. Y'all have not moved an inch.
No,
it doesn't require a tour
at all.
It's a simple point would do.
Yeah,
That's
let me
against-
take you into the bedroom 5 steps that way so we can have our conversation.
Yes, we know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So she goes to talk. Jasmine talks to his two friends who have these they both have on these hats and they have these circle glasses and they are just two different heights, but look the same.
Like Rudy on After Party put it so wonderfully. She's like the Mario and Luigi of 2022. I was like, yes, fantastic. Yes, Rudy,
They
this
said,
is what we
we about
have
to
you
be
here
on
for.
TV.
Do they
Let's
have
put on our best.
They have like a clothing line or something they're trying to promote.
Right?
Like what?
What was
Like,
this?
is there like a bunch of stuff on the cutting room floor where they're like facing camera and talking about, and I got this fly hat from
Right.
like blah 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 or something blah blah blah. Like,
Yes. Oh, they
like
were
you know it's not
they
gonna
were-
go on the show, right? We're not gonna be promoting your clothing line for you.
They were standouts for sure in the appearance department. But Jasmine tells them, like, she's like, we're not having sex. There's no sexual chemistry. And like she said, we do have a lot in common. We just don't have that. So I don't know. I mean, well, the last thing was him. He with her aunt and sister. He was like, he doesn't want to get stuck doing what they're doing. He thinks they need a plan to kind of get out of this because he's afraid they're just going to keep. This is going to be the same. They're going to be in the same place at the end of the 8 weeks.
But the plan is in his hands. He needs
The problem
to
is
with the
you,
plan.
Aris.
So you are the one that needs to come up with the plan because she's just trying to be herself and it's not working for you. So you need to come up with a plan. Like, it's not her plans. You need to find a plan. I don't know what a plan would be to become attracted to someone. I don't understand Aris one bit
At all. Yeah, because he literally is making it seem like she got to do something to get me attracted to her.
Right? Like what?
Like, what are you talking about? Are you okay?
That's okay because Aris is gonna get his comeuppance next episode.
Yes, we did get a preview. So the preview. Oh well, actually, let's also talk about them at the potluck.
Oh yes.
So when they were at the potluck, Clint asked, "Are they getting frisky?" And
I love Jasmine's face. She was like, oh, "This mother,
right?
like, why is this dirty old man asking about people getting freaky again? Like, this guy doesn't stop."
Yes, they said they're not getting frisky. They said there is some occasional kissing, but she's like, I'm sexually attracted to him. He's not sexually attracted to me. How tired do you think she is of saying that?
So tired. So she's got to be. So I don't even know why she's still saying it.
Same.
Like, we don't need to hear it every time.
Every time, and I feel like it's just a stab at her ego every time.
Feels like a producer's off camera, like, say the thing. Like, she holds up a car, like, say the thing.
You're attracted to him.
Yeah, say it. Go ahead. We need to hear it again. She's like, oh my God, fine. I'm attracted to him, but he's not attracted to me. Exactly. Like, I'm sure she regrets the first time she ever said that because now she has to say it every day.
They're like, that's perfect. Just if you keep saying that, short, sweet, to the point. It's like, no, that's awful. But she says that, and he's like, yeah, this is all new for me too. No, that doesn't relate.
She's like, oh yeah, because it's so new that he's not attracted. She is like, she's bitter at this point. She is done with this man and his nonsense.
Yeah. Shaq, that's when he chimed in. He's like, it'll grow. You just have to allow it to grow.
Shaq, what? You can't even get a kiss, my man. I don't think you are the one that needs to be giving out advice.
And he's still wondering about attraction. He can't confidently say that he knows that Kirsten is attracted to him now. He just can say, well, she rubs my head.
Yeah, that's progress for him and Kirsten.
Exactly. But we did get a preview for next week, and COVID has found its way to Aris.
Felina at that lunch was like, oh yeah, I just had a little tickle in my throat. She gave Aris COVID. I mean, that's the only person that's been around uh Aris hasn't been around Jasmine, so put two
Right.
and two
And
together.
I'm curious though how he would have it and she doesn't. Aren't they
Because
living
he
in
was
close
around for,
quarters?
well, I mean, that's true.
I mean, but I
Um
guess they aren't being physical. They probably haven't kissed in a while.
Maybe.
Um, but we did. It may not, it may take him out for a few days, but it doesn't take him out completely because we do get a scene of them together, and he's like, "So are you falling in love with me?" And she said, "No."
That could have been before we find out the COVID diagnosis.
Oh, true, true, true. It could have.
I do hope that this doesn't like totally put them at a standstill for 2 weeks. I mean, who knows what the quarantine, what the mass quarantine policy is at the time,
Mm-hmm.
like, or the CDC policy was at the time, or if they have to like stop filming them for a certain amount of time. Who knows?
Right. They're like, uh, you know what to do. Pull out your phone, send it to us. So we're gonna keep seeing. So day 3.
Yeah. There's gonna be FaceTiming and Zooming all the whole time.
Right. Aris is probably relieved because he's like, okay, we don't have to talk about intimacy right now, at least. But yeah. So we're okay. Last week we were at I was at a 1 and you were at a 2. We had flip-flop because the previous week I was at a 2, you were at a 1.
I don't want to take them down to a 1 just yet, but I feel like they're getting closer. Like I feel like she is starting to her patience is starting to wane for him and his cousin. So yeah, it's getting down to a pretty low 2, but I'm gonna keep it at 2 for now.
Okay. I'm going to maintain my 1 because there was nothing about tonight's episode or last night's episode that pushed me up to a 2. Yeah, nothing at all. So I just feel like the longer this goes on, the more over it Jasmine will be. And I don't care how long it takes Aris to come around. Once he starts coming around, she's gonna be done.
I bet she is just so tired of like you said, giving that line, like, I find him attractive, but she doesn't find, because she's probably like, I don't even find him that attractive. Like,
right?
I just,
she's like, he's a 6 at best.
Right. Like, I felt I was being nice to the guy, and he's just like being so like rude. Like, I'm sure that her attraction is growing lesser and lesser now.
Yeah.
It's like just as much as we can grow an attraction, we can lose attraction as well. So the fact that
he thinks he has such the upper hand. That's the problem.
Yeah. I don't think he deserves that confidence that he has. Like,
who told him?
She did.
Yeah, true. So where are we heading next?
We're going to hit Nicole and Chris. We start with Nicole having lunch with her friend Julianne. She's given, everyone has to give the update about, I haven't seen you since the wedding. Here's what happened on the honeymoon. So Nicole gives her the update. She basically, this whole episode for Nicole can be summed up as, why isn't he meaner to me? Like, I want him to be mean to me.
So nice.
Yeah, she tells her friend, like, he's everything that women say they want. And I used to be like, when that used to happen to me, I used to go on dates and I used to say, that guy's too nice, and I used to run away from that. But now I'm realizing that maybe what I need and what I want. And I realized those are amazing qualities. And she says, it's really just tough for her to take compliments, which, he compliments her all the time, but she's starting to have doubts and wonders if he's just saying these things to make her happy and he doesn't really mean them. And she's really just kind of waiting for the shoe to drop, waiting for something to go wrong, because nothing's gone wrong yet. Julianne says, well, if you guys are building a great foundation, which sounds like you are, then you'll be able to handle those, those squabbles that are going to come up, in the future. Nicole she just keeps saying things like, I'm just so afraid that I'm going to be the cause of our issues, and I'm going to drive. She's driving herself crazy, wondering when that's going to happen. She says normally she would be running at this point, but thinking it's too good to be true. But now she's committed to this because they're married, so she's sticking in there, and she's going to keep being vulnerable, keep being herself. She's we end that segment just keep saying, I'm just so worried that things are going to go wrong. If self-sabotage was a person, Nicole would be the person of self-sabotage.
Absolutely. Because, girl, everything is so great. Don't go looking for issues. This is still the honeymoon period. Just enjoy each other. Don't overthink it. Don't try to mess it up. She's already feeling guilty thinking that for a future thing that may not even happen,
Mhm.
because in the present moment Chris is too nice and and not capable of ending it when they have a future imaginary problem.
Yeah. So they're setting up for their housewarming party. They have decided to do a flamingo theme. They're calling it Flamingo.
She was so
Really,
excited about this.
really obnoxiously cute. Um, she tries to get him to wear a shirt that is like flamingo-esque themed, I guess. It's pink.
Mm-hmm.
It's two different patterns on this, two different sides of the shirt. He says, it's a little much for me, but I'll wear it if you want me to. She says, "Oh, I don't want to pressure you. I don't want to pressure you. You don't want to wear it.
Mm.
Don't wear it." I think this is a very interesting contrast to what we got last season with Kristen and Mitch.
Just wear the shirt.
Wear the shirt. Just suck it up. Wear a stupid shirt. And I feel like Nicole is like, she's trying to get him to argue with her. Like, if you just tell me if you don't want to wear it. If you don't like it, just tell me. And she just keeps doing these things, like checking in with him. Like, just tell me if you don't want it. Like, go ahead, yell at me. Please yell at me. Just tell me you don't, just tell me to stuff the shirt up my butt. Like, just tell me you don't like it. Tell me you hate me because I made you wear this shirt. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Like, I feel like she's trying to bait him into like arguing with her. He's like, no, if you want me to wear it, I'll wear it. It's not that big of a deal.
Right. And some people just like to argue.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's one of those people. She feels the absence of it and is like, wait, that's what has fueled so many of my past relationships. Or maybe she doesn't like to argue, but she's like grown accustomed to it. Like that is a part of the relationship to move it forward. Because we have conflict, we make up, and we're growing through that. And then the fact that there's none of that, just like friction, she's like, wait a second, how do we grow?
Maybe he should have taken a shirt and just made it into an argument just to get it out of the way.
Right.
It's almost like
talk about it.
It's almost like if you have like sexual tension and you need to and once you do the sex, the tension's out of the way and you can move on. Maybe they just need to. You know what? I hate this shirt and I hate that you got it for me. And you don't have good taste in shirts. Like they have a stupid argument. Like, all right, fine, our first argument's done. You good? We good? Can we move on now? Because like she is so worried about when this is gonna happen. It's like, let's get out of the way then.
Yeah.
Their guests arrive. His brother shows up, and her friends, Juliana and Jackie, show up. We're waiting on another guest to arrive, Devontae. I was like, oh,
I was like,
this got a black friend? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, Chris. All right. They give the guests like stupid, Hawaiian leis. They take them all to the living room, show off the wedding pictures. Of course, Nicole has to say, well, they try to give us this picture, but I hate this picture. Like, there's an infamous picture that we saw her ranting about last episode.
Such a big deal.
But if she hates it, why does she show all the other people the bad picture she doesn't like?
She literally took it. It wouldn't have ever been seen. She
Never.
Opens it up, takes it out of the back so they could see.
Yeah. She brings out the matching shirt. She's like, these are what we're supposed to wear. But Chris stood up to me and told me he didn't want to wear them. Like, it's so odd how they treat Chris like this like delicate little baby. Like, It's like, oh, he stood up to me. I'm so proud of him for standing up to me. I mean, but like she says, like everyone at the wedding told her that Chris has been a pushover and he's been walked over in the past. So I think she's just like, that's really gotten to her. She's like, oh, he's standing up to me. Like, this is not like him, like everyone has said. So this is an improvement in Chris. I just so weird.
Yeah, it is.
So they do the little, separation thing. Her friends take Chris into a separate room. They ask him, how's it going? He says, things are going better than expected. But, she does get a little upset in certain situations. But he does like that she is strong and opinionated. Juliana says, how do you handle her when she blows up like that? He's like, well, it's not really directed at me. So I'm not really sure yet how he would handle that because it's not really been a fight against me. It's been a fight against pictures. I guess, and different other things.
I'm not even sure if he has other examples.
Yeah. So Nicole and his brother are still at the kitchen talking. We get a knock at the door, and what do you know? It's Devontae.
Who is a
Devontae,
black man.
who is a black man. I was like, all right, Chris. Devontae comes in, and Nicole is like gets really soccer mommy. She's like, so you want some food? I got some food here for you. Got a little treat for you. And Devontae comes in. He's like, I think he already knows Chris's brother. Like he and Chris's brother like dap up. He's like, so where's Chris? Like,
yeah.
this is weird. Why is it just us and his wife? Like, what's going on?
I'm like, Devontae, there are only so many options.
Yeah.
That room or that room.
Yeah. So they start talking. Devontae asks her, so have you guys had any arguments? She says, no, he does like appease me a lot. And, you know, I know that I've heard so much about in the past how he's been walked over, and I don't want the same thing to happen here. I keep having to ask him, like, what do you really think? Like, and I honestly, nothing annoys a lot of people more than when someone does that. Like, but no, what do you really think? I just told you what I really think. Like, I'm not lying to you. Like, that's what I really think. Like, you know, that will happen to me, and my wife's like, but no, what do you really think? Not the answer you think I want to hear.
Right?
What do you really like? No, that was what I really like. Even if I think what's happening with Chris a lot is what happens to me. Like, if I don't care, I will just give an answer. Like, no, what do you really think? Like, I want to be like, what I really think is I don't care, but I can't tell you that. So she really wants him just to be like upfront with her and like tell him what he really thinks.
Yeah, but then it's like, and I'm sure maybe you feel this way too, but if you say something and then someone's like, no, tell me what you really think, then you're like, well, if you thought what I just said was untrue, then you're not going to believe anything that comes out of my mouth until it's just what you wanted to hear.
And sometimes it feels like if I tell you the answer that you wanted, you think I'm lying, which I'm not. We have the same answer. Like,
right.
It's interesting that way. She says, you know, she is open to compromise, but it doesn't make her happy that he does things only to make her happy. But when when big things come up in their lives, she really wants to know what he thinks so they can really talk about situations and both compromise and both be happy. Chris tells her friends that, you know, she has an issue when he does things for her and all that stuff. And he's like, I just wonder if it's from her past, like, and she's been hurt before. So her friend says, yes, that's exactly it. She does want someone to challenge her. And my least favorite term in Married at First Sight, keep her in check. And the friend says, just make sure you're just not being a pushover.
You see how when we were talking about Dom needing someone more dominant, we never said she needs somebody to keep her in check. That just doesn't come up.
That's just a terrible phrase, and I wish no one would ever use it. No one should have to keep you in check. Like, you should be an adult. Like, no one should have to like to do that to you, for you, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Chris and Nicole, the shining stars at the group potluck because
Oh wait, I was gonna ask you about Devontae. Did you notice he had like a do-rag line on his head?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he had that on in the car. He said, waves are about to be on swim when I walk into this apartment. It was a fresh line.
But he took it off before he got into this room with all these white people.
Yeah, exactly.
So Chris and Nicole are the stars of the potluck because they are the ones that have had sex. There's more talk of blowing backs out. Aris is with Jasmine in the confession. He's like, so Nicole, the first one to get her back blown out, and Jasmine is just so embarrassed. She's like, oh my God,
literally, because like for one, this is not a joke because it's a serious issue between us right now. So it's like, yeah, I know we've said in the past, like Aris has had some funny confessionals, but this specific confessional with Jasmine, that's just hitting a little too close to home.
And then Clint has to come in. Like, Clint and Aris are just the dirty old men of this season. And Clint has to come in like, anything crazy going on in the bedroom? And, you know, to Nicole's credit, she takes it. She's like, yeah, his back's been hurt because he's been blowing my back out all the time. It's like, oh my God, come on.
Oh my God.
Can we stop? Yeah, the only other thing really is Nicole trying to like convince Dom to like give the relationship another try.
Right, like Nicole, give it up. Pastor Cal, what do you call it? Struck out. It's like, what's the past tense? Oh my goodness, words are difficult.
Words is hard. So, all right, that's it for Chris and Nicole. Do I even have to ask what your rating is for this week?
Well, okay.
Are you faltering it?
Well, okay, let's do our ratings and let's talk about the preview.
Oh, okay, yes.
So yes, I'm a 5.
Yep, 5 here. I feel
Okay.
like it could, if she keeps going with this level, with this line of like of how she's going, I think it could dip because he could get a little like frustrated with her doing like being so paranoid about things going wrong. It could dip to a 4, but as of right now, it's still a solid 5. But yes, let's talk about how this could go wrong in the preview.
So we did get a sneak peek scene of Chris and Nicole, and I was nervous because I'm like, I don't know what I'm about to see. Are they going to spoil something for 5 weeks from now? You just have to watch with caution. So it starts out with Chris talking about his own body insecurities, and then he was like, I just want you to know I was asked about appearance, and I said beautiful face, beautiful smile, but a little thicker than what I normally go for, but not in a bad way. Why would he say this?
Why would you, number one, in the first place, say that to camera at any moment in time?
Yes.
That was your first mess up. The second mess up is I understand he wanted to get ahead of it before she saw it on the show, but y'all still too new in this. Like you're gonna have to bite the bullet when the show airs, whatever how many months it is after you said it, because at that point y'all have been together longer and it will not come across as badly as it has now, because saying it now, 2 weeks into your marriage, it hits a little worse than it would if you had more time and experience with her. So yeah, just bad moves on Chris's part all the way around.
Yeah, because it's only now, like, for her to hear. So she said it's jarring. So, like, now you're having to deal with the present reaction for what you said that she hasn't even seen. And then just first of all, just should have never said it.
Never said it. And
I mean, he's clearly having regrets for saying it, but just like, why would that ever come out of your mouth, Chris?
Yeah, like, use your brain. Like, that whoever your wife is going to be, she's going to see that. And it's so dumb. Chris, you do better, Chris. Do better.
Please.
And you already know that she is, she can be insecure. So this is going to send her into a whole new spiral, which we're going to have to deal with. So
because she's just going to start thinking he's not really saying what he means, because, okay, she hears him say this. This is something she's never heard him say. So she's like, okay, that's how you really felt. And you said that in front of a camera. What are you not really telling me?
Yeah, it's going to send her on a whole new spiral. So real bad move. I mean, Chris has made some blunders the past couple weeks. I need him.
Maybe he might be the downfall.
Yeah, I need him to get it in check, because tighten it up, Chris. This is not a good look for you, my man.
Tighten it up. Our faithful listener, South Jersey Pete, said that he thinks that Nicole is the best spouse since I can't remember.
I think he said Brianna. I think I saw it too. I think he said Brianna from Brianna and Vincent.
Oh yeah, from Brianna and Vincent. I think he said he messaged me on Twitter. Oh, since Steve.
Well, Steve.
He thought Steve was a good spouse.
I think Nicole is way better than Steve at the moment. Steve was a good spouse, but he definitely had some faults.
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect.
Right.
But yeah, I think Nicole is, as of right now, Nicole's a A1 spouse. I think in Nicole and in Shaq, I think so far we've gotten 2 really great spouses, 2 people that are patient, understanding, and are serious about the process, ready to work through it. So I do think that we have two really great married at first sight prospects in those 2 people here. And I think Nicole and Chris themselves have a opportunity to be one of the better married at first sight couples if things keep going well. And I think as much crap as we give the experts, if we have a A1 couple like Nicole and Chris come out of this, that'll be a win for the show for seasons to come. Because even if we're desperate to get successful couples in these seasons, we haven't had one at this point since season
season
12.
12. We need a win.
We need a win, y'all. We need a win. Even me, who I'm like, I want 80% mess, 20% love. I would like to see a successful couple come out of this. Like
Yeah.
at some point, because at some point, the Lifetime's gonna be like, what are we doing this for? Like, and end the show.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen season 12, it's on Netflix now.
Yeah, it's new on Netflix.
So go watch it.
Yeah, so one of the messier seasons
Yes.
for many reasons. Yeah, go check that out.
Yeah.
And then that
And
was
then report
in the,
back.
well, yeah, I mean that was in the Asian Amy days.
Yes.
I do believe I guested that season a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, go check that out.
Yeah.
Check out the podcast coverage. Check out the Netflix. Binge the podcast. Do all that fun stuff.
Exactly. So yeah, let's end it with Gina and Clint. Not too much, but major development is Gina has decided to move into the apartment. She's like, she realized after a conversation with Pastor Cal that they need to make a move. So it's like one good thing came out of these Pastor Cal conversations.
Yeah. You can say that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, moving in is something.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a step in the right direction. I think Pastor Cal shamed her enough to get her to come into the. It looked like both of them were actually moving in at the time. I guess Clint was
right.
Like,
I guess he didn't. He's like,
no
I
sense
might
of
as well
moving
stay at
in.
home. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they went from living in the same building to moving into their apartment.
Yeah.
So he goes to play frisbee with his friend Andrew.
Chris season 14 is like, it's like a frisbee. Let me get that. Let me get over there. Like, let me frizz it up with you, bros.
Right. He said he met Andrew through the sailing community.
Through the sailing community.
Yeah.
His yacht's next to my yacht.
He talks about how Gina isn't really outdoorsy and she's always just focused on the salon, and he feels like the physical attraction has been a real barrier for them. And when he talked to Pastor Cal, he realized like, okay, they're gonna have to find attraction from the inside out. And Andrew's like, when I think about other situations outside of this, it's a lot easier because there's no pressure when there's no attraction. Like you have time to build on it. And in this situation, y'all have so much pressure to make it work.
Good points.
I was like, yeah, that is solid. Yeah. So Clint says they are in a better place than they were. He did meet Hank, her dog, and he thinks he's a good dude. But then he was like,
"Hey, we have a good dude, man. He's a good dude."
He's like, we have the same hair, so how could she say she doesn't like redheads?
That was funny. I did note that when I saw Hank with Clint. Like I think it was this episode or last was like they have about the same hair, and Gina's hair isn't even that far off from Clint's hair.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Gina, what are you talking about?
We'll never know. So they move in. Clint's putting his stuff in the other room. I made a note that Hank is so cute.
Oh, of course you did. I'm surprised your notes aren't filled with that.
Hank was so adorable in this scene. So Gina talks about how she brought double the amount of stuff. So she's like, I went from not moving in at all to bringing double than what you brought. And we get a confessional from Clint saying like, now they've moved in. They're just going to take it day by day, see what happens. They have their housewarming party. They put on fake tattoos. Yeah,
and there's something that got me, which they talk a little bit about later, is that Clint brings two ladies, his friends. I was like, that's interesting because all we've seen from Clint and his friend group is all his bros. So I was like, I was really surprised that he brought two women as his house party guests.
Yeah, very true. So which on. Was it? No, was it on? No, it wasn't on after party. It was.
No, it was during the group discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, at the potluck, Gina says like, "Oh, he was with the ladies. And he had no issues." And I was like, "Wow, I can bring him around my salon friends."
Yeah. I think positive movement was made in the Gina and Clint relationship this episode.
Yeah. So she goes away with Clint's friends and. She says she feels like she hasn't seen them in forever. So they did make a bond, I guess, at the wedding.
Yeah, at that moment, I thought that they were her friends, but then they did the Chiron and they were Clint's friends. Like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. Like, they bonded so much that she missed them. I was like,
yeah, dang. Exactly. And then he hung out with her friends and he tells them like there's been peaks and valleys, but they're taking it slow. They're both physically, emotionally, and financially ready to make it work. But are y'all ready to do all that stuff together?
But do you like each other? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
like
I
that's
don't care how much money you have.
right. That's the next part. Like that's probably the most important part.
Exactly. So I mean, I think Clint, he knows what he's doing on camera. Like he
Uh,
knows,
are you
like
saying he's putting on an act for the camera? Is that what you're saying? Or
not that it's an act, but it's just like he knows how to I think he just knows not what to say, not that he's saying all the perfect stuff, but I think he's saying all the like appropriate things. I don't know. Because it's not like I think he's being ingenuine, but maybe I do, because is he being honest about where he really thinks him and Gina are?
I mean, he's saying there's no attraction. Like, what do you
Mhm.
want him to what do you think are his real feelings? Do you think he's attracted, but he's afraid to say that because she's not attracted to him?
Well, no, I think yes, he's being honest about the attraction, but in terms of moving forward, like, yeah, we're just gonna. I mean, I guess that's all you can say when you don't.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we came into the season like ready to just tear Clint apart, and we did at certain points.
It happened.
But in the last couple episodes, it's just like, wow, like why am I so freaking team Clint? Gina, why are you making me be freaking team Clint all of a
Yeah, I'm
sudden?
still mad I had to go off on Gina last episode.
Yeah, so it's like, geez. And I think Gina may be also course correcting, because maybe she realizes that she wasn't coming off as a great look, so she is starting to
Yeah.
get with the program, and maybe
Mhm.
they're just going to try and stick this thing out for the 8 weeks, part as friends, and just be on their way. like
Yeah.
like they have like a calendar on the wall, just Xing out the days.
Right. We'll do
6 weeks left till we
They're
can
like, "What's 8 weeks?" I
right.
mean,
Six more weeks till you can part. Like
mhm.
we're just counting down the days. I feel like
Literally.
that could be a lot of what's going on here, and we're just not going to. I would be surprised if we got any more blow-ups between them, because I think they both are just like, okay, this isn't going to work, but let's stick it out 6 more weeks, and we can be done with this thing.
Yeah, and I think that they're gonna. I think it's a good choice because at least they could make it to the end of this next 6 weeks. And they both say no, but it's amicable.
Right?
Whereas if they
Yes.
would have been now, it would have been like a more Dom and Max situation where it's just like, okay, there's going to be that bad blood, but at
Yeah.
least they can become friends or have a okay, friendship.
And don't let it get to a Jake and Haley level toxic
Right, please.
who stuck it through the 8 weeks, but they were very like pretty mean to each other throughout the whole 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Just be there, be cool, be cordial, be friends, and
Yeah.
just leave it at that at the end of the process. And who knows, maybe if you like actually hang out as friends,
You might
something
start to
weird
like each other.
could happen, and you could spark some attraction. I
Exactly.
still think it's like I still think it's weird. Like this season in a capsule, right? We have Kirsten, who for some unknown reason just cannot seem to find her way to attraction with Shaq.
Mm-mm.
Who Shaq is? I mean, he's a decent looking guy. He's not. We keep talking. Our go to for attractive man is Boris Kojo on this show. Like I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why, but we keep. He's not a Boris Kojo, but I mean, like he's not ugly. He's not ugly, is he, Asian?
Mm-mm. No, 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 no. He's
Right.
definitely not ugly.
So for some reason, it's like she can't find her way to attraction with him. Aris, for some reason, cannot find his way to attraction with Jasmine. Like how,
What are
what,
these
where,
barriers?
when, why, what's happening? Gina, I still think Clint has more of attraction to Gina than Gina has to him. I think he's just trying to be like save a little face by
Yes.
being like, oh yeah, I don't find her attractive at all. Like we kind of know you do. And
Then you got Chris thinking Nicole's too thick for him.
I don't understand what's going on with these people. I really, really don't. Like, I don't get it. The person been as attracted as anyone this season is Mac attracted Dom's boobies, and now that's over. Like, that's done.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, what gets me though is especially because we can make the direct comparison with the show that we watch, Love is Blind, where we hear more about physical attraction on this show than we do on Love is Blind, when that really is the place where you think you would hear more of it. But
Love
I
is
think
Blind has an eerie good track record with the successful matches, attracted wise, as these
yes,
people that haven't seen each other and they've been talking for what 10 days or so, and then they're attracted when they see each other for the first time.
and it's because they've gotten to know each other and talk to each other beforehand, right? They have
Yeah,
that, like, okay, we have this foundation. I know who this person is. I just don't know what they look like. Whereas on this show, because it's all coming at once, they don't even get to know you because they're so stuck. I can't get through the fact that you're not my type to get to know that at our core we really align.
yeah.
It's so annoying.
This is the pickiest season that we may have ever seen. I don't know.
Yes. Right. It's a mess. Does that say something about Nashville, or does that just speak to where we are today as a society?
The society, I think, is probably the bigger part, because if you think about earlier seasons of Married at First Sight, we didn't really have this problem a lot. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, and in the past 3 or so seasons, we've seen this problem pop up more often than not.
Yeah. So lastly with them, we got she was with his friends, and she said that the positives do outweigh the negatives, and she realized she was really overthinking the moving in thing. Like, duh, girl.
Yeah,
We told
that's
you
what
that.
everybody was trying to tell you.
Exactly. At the potluck, Cleena.
Kalina.
Clint and Gina they said they're good. And Gina or Clint, this is where Clint says that he really wants to get to know the depths of Gina. He wants to know, what did 5-year-old Gina want for Gina today?
Oh my gosh, want to know the crusty little bits.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop it, Clint.
Right. And I don't think we saw. We see a very small, out of context statement from
Oh my
Clint saying,
gosh,
"I gotta go
no!
pregnant."
This is the worst out of context preview I may have ever seen, where he's just like, "Yeah, I got a girl pregnant."
He
What?
clearly is in the middle of a story.
Clearly, it's just like, why are y'all trying to do this like this? Why are y'all doing this?
It
Why are
might
y'all?
as well have been like, "I got a girl pregnant."
Yeah, it was Frankenbite the whole thing. Like, why are y'all trying to trick us into thinking that Clint is the modern day Chris? Like, what?
I know.
Stop it, TV
They
show.
said we're trying to do anything to keep y'all.
They're really trying to get us tuned in next week.
Right. Exactly.
We know we lost a couple, but we need you to come back.
Yeah. So yeah, those are all our couples this episode.
We didn't rate Cleena.
We did not rate Cleena. So, what are you thinking?
Where was I last week?
We were both at ones.
I mean, you know what? Hey, we had a lot of positive development, I think, in their relationship. I'm gonna go ahead and bump up to a 2. I think that's the least I can do for them, because Gina moved in. They had like, they seemed to they seemed to have some chemistry with all their friends. Like, when they were all together in a group, they seemed to get along rather well. Conversation was flowing. So hey, I'm gonna give them a 2. I can see like just the tiniest glimmer of hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm at a 2 too. I moving in, that's a positive step. So I think that's something. If they were still living apart, they definitely still be a 1 for me. But I think some good can come from it. Like I said,
yeah.
They could be amicable. They may not end up together, but at least this is a start. They couldn't make progress living separately. So at least this puts them in a position to make some progress.
I think it depends on how they move forward in the next 6 weeks. Are they hanging out, watching TV together, having meals together when the camera's not around? I think that would be very important in the evolution of their relationship. If they don't have filming days, or they be like, all right, well, you go to your place, I'll go to mine. Like, we don't have to be around each other when the camera's not around. Like, if it's gonna be that way, then there's no hope. I think if they go through if they come at this with with being even a little bit earnest and giving it any kind of shot, something could happen. And anything can happen.
Yep. The possibilities are endless. You're watching Married at First Sight UK, right?
I started the first episode, have not finished it yet.
Oh, okay. I was gonna see if you wanted to recommend it to anybody.
So far, much like Married at First Sight Australia, the matches are made more for entertainment than they are for possibly matching real people with real people. I will say there's a lesbian couple, and there's a gay male couple on the season. So two LGBTQ plus couples, very
How many
interesting.
couples do they have?
As of right now, because these international versions are known to sprinkle in couples midway through the season. As of right now, I think it's at seven couples right now. Australia gets like balloons to an unbelievable amount. So I think it's 7 here. In this first hour and a half episode, we are promised 2 weddings. And we had what they call the stag and the hen parties, which are the bachelor parties. So we got all that. There was no big like long lead up to. There's no wedding dress shopping. There was no tux shopping. You just see them in their wedding dress as they are talking over it. So I think that's like US. Take some notes. Like let's shorten this thing. We got 2 weddings in the first hour and a half episode. We can make it happen. MAFS US. Like let's borrow some from our international partners and make this a little better viewing experience.
Yeah. Okay,
but so far, what I've seen, I'm enjoying it because the personalities so far are good. There's already some bickering between some of the brides. So like the show's built
funny.
The show's built more for drama than anything else.
And that's fine. Yeah, with perfect match ending, I need a drama show, you know?
Yeah.
So thank y'all for sticking with us. Jason, what are you up to? Where can people find you?
I got some things going on right now on Twitter. You can find me at JAYR1085. Over on Post Show Recaps, just finished up covering Extraordinary with Sasha Joseph. I am also covering at the moment Dear Edward with Marissa Garza. So if you're watching either of those shows, come and check out our coverage over on Post Show Recaps. Here on the RHAP Has podcast side of things, as we talked about earlier, Aysha and I, along with Kirsten, just finished up covering the show Perfect Match over on Netflix. It was a hot mess. So hear us talk all about that as we wrapped that up this week. Also, this weekend, I will be on Robin and Akiva Nina podcast. If you're a RHAP fan, you know what that is. We will be talking about the greatest TV dads in history as it is bracket season over there. So we'll be doing a whole, bracket, system, trying to figure out who the greatest TV dad is. Aysha, take it away.
Yeah, y'all can find me on Twitter and TikTok at Aysha like Aysha. That's AYSHA like ASIA. Of course, the Survivor 44 draft. If you missed that, go catch that if you're watching Survivor. That's all I got to say about Survivor this week. It was a very interesting episode. So if you haven't tuned in and you plan to watch Survivor, go ahead and kick it off. Don't be delayed, or you will be spoiled by something. I also joined Sarah Carradine and Mary Kukowski. So Sarah, of course, from if you've listened to past seasons, she's one of our guests. Sarah and Mary are covering Outer Banks on Post Show Recap. So I joined them for coverage of season 3, episodes 9 and 10. So that should be dropping on the Post Show Recaps feed very soon. And also, Perfect Match. We wrapped up our coverage of the show Perfect Match and with us and Kirsten McInnes. And it was, if you haven't watched the show, I would check it out. Netflix did fumble their way to the end, but
as they do,
but it was, I enjoyed the ride. And the podcast was fun. So if you just want to listen to the podcast, I do know a couple people out there who just listened to the podcast without watching the show. You could do that as well. We put out 3 podcasts covering those 12 episodes. But I think that is it for now. Oh, actually, Big Brother Canada. If you do watch Big Brother Canada, it is starting next week. So it's starting on March 8th. So catch me out. Catch me
Catch me outside.
How about that? Catch me on coverage throughout the season, kicking it off with coverage of the premiere episode. So if you love puppies, like I've mentioned before, follow my my dog's TikTok, which is at Malshi Poo Sisters. They're putting out fire content, y'all, regularly. So thank y'all so much for sticking with us. Make sure you subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed. Make sure you go join our Facebook group at Perfect Match Podcast. Password is Crusty Little Bits this week. And we will be back next week to cover episode 10. Bye.